to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCCW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Cindy Cochran Show. I'm so glad that you joined us, and you're going to be even gladder that you joined us because of who we have here today. And I guess if you live around the Conroe area, you'll know exactly who we have, and you'll go like, I just never went in there. I just never thought about going in there. But you'll not only think about it, you'll do it today. But first, I want to thank our sponsor. Our sponsor is Wooten Financial Group. The Wooten Financial Group is a fiduciary. Fiduciary. You love that word. I love that word. Do y'all know what fiduciary means? There you go. See, you know what it means. Okay. Oh, you don't know it. Okay. Well, then let me school you, kids. This is a fiduciary. It's not anything bad. At first, when Chris Wooten, who's the owner of this, said it, he said, and we are a fiduciary. And I said, oh, you are? And I sat there and went, what's a fiduciary in my head and going, what could that be? But that means that company puts their client first. The client has to, be doing well for them to be doing well. So it's a win-win situation kind of thing. And so the client is the main focus. And that's always good. You always want to know that going into a business is that they want to put the client first. And so fiduciary is a good thing, and that's exactly what the Wooten Financial Group is. And they'll help you with your retirement. And if you need to think, if you're thinking, do I have enough money to retire? Should I keep working? I don't know what to do. Chris Wooten will be glad to help you, and he will be. It's great. He's great. He's a great guy. And we had people on. I was talking about Chris Wooten, and they lived in his neighborhood, and they go, we live in his neighborhood. We know him. He's a good neighbor. So we had that kind of confirmation. But I've known him for a long time, and he is a great guy. And he will answer your questions. And you don't have to have a whole bunch of money. That's what people think. You have to have like a lot of money to go to someone that's a financial planner, because I don't feel like you have enough finances to even plan with. You're just trying to get from one check to the next check. So he's the one that's going to help you, and he'll calm your nerves and all that, because it is a up and down type of financial system that's going on right now, and depending on who's in office. But we kind of just hope that people like Chris Wooten stays around and helps us get this all straightened out and calmed down. Okay, so thank you so much for your sponsorship. We really do appreciate it. But I've got with me the staff and some really, some very interesting people from that staff of Angelic Resale. Now, is that word? If you go like Angelic Resale, that may not ring a bell, but if you've ever driven down 105 from the freeway going east, look over to the right, and there's this big, it's like a deep purple sign, and it has Angelic Resale on it. And you go like, they sell angels, or what are the things that they do? You don't know. But a lot of people in Conroe are familiar with them, and we're going to talk to the staff and get those that do not know about them. You're going to want to know about them, go by there and shop, because what they're doing is amazing, and they're helping so many people in so many different ways. Not just the shoppers that come in there and find these great deals, but the people that are in need of help. They go to sponsor and to support that. So your dollar is spent very well and helps a lot of other people in the community. So I have with me Robert Sherman, and he is the director of the Teen Challenge Do I call you director or?
Oh, I'm the education
You're
coordinator.
the education coordinator. He has a lot bigger, longer title than that. I'm sorry. The education coordinator. The fact that I got Robert Sherman is,
Man, you
I mean,
nailed that.
you
Like,
can
that's-
ask Richard. You remembered his name, and not only that, but I've got Matthew Killian.
Yeah.
And I guess you probably have no idea how I remembered your last name. Killian. It's Killian.
Yes, ma'am.
And Killian. But Matthew, where did Killian come from? I've never heard that name before.
It's kind of a popular Irish name.
Killian.
Yeah, Killian, yeah.
Killian. Okay.
But I'm probably more Italian than Irish. But
Are you really?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. My grandparents were from Sicily. So.
From Sicily.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, you're just extremely broad.
Yeah.
Broad-minded. Anyway, and on my side, sitting right next to me, is, don't tell me, Kaitlyn Tudor, right?
Yeah.
Is it Tudor or Tudor?
I say Tudor. Lots of people say Tudor.
Well, it's going to be easier to remember Killian because in about 3 days they're going to get married. Matthew and Kaitlyn are going to be married.
Yeah.
And they came to my show first. That's so great that we could announce that. How long have you been engaged?
We got engaged in November, right?
That's
Am I
right.
right? October or November?
I'm one of those.
But yeah, we've been together we're friends for for a few years, and we've been together for the past year, and so yeah, we're finally getting married in February.
That's
in a few days, Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Keep reminding him, will you?
Yeah.
Because I thought I was bad.
I do. I have a countdown.
Every time. And Kaitlyn is going to, her first day is going to be tomorrow? No, Thursday?
The 14th, Valentine's Day, will be our first day
Oh,
at
that's
Angelic
right.
Resale. Yeah.
Okay, Valentine's Day is going to be your first day. That's going to be good because you probably have a lot of people in there wanting to buy things and get all that kind of stuff. And I turned to her before we got on. I said, okay, so you want to tell me about what you guys have there? And she says, I haven't started yet, Cindy. But she did go by and visit today.
Yes.
You went by there. So, and you have a good impression of that.
Oh, yeah.
You're excited to go
Yes.
there. Yeah. Y'all see each other every day, though.
We
Is
don't see each other every day because she works at the female center in South Houston and Alvin, and I work at the male center in Magnolia.
Okay,
And
then
so-
there's days that you work together. Do y'all work at? Do you work at Angelic? Or are you?
No, I'm the program. I'm the
That's-
program director over at Teen Challenge.
That's right, because I had to call and talk to
Rodney.
Rodney,
Yeah.
and he wasn't there, and so I talked to Matthew, and I said, "So Matthew, can you ask Rodney if he'd like to come on the show?" And he called me back, and he said I could go. So apparently Rodney's listened to my show before, but anyway, and then I found out about Robert Sherman, and he's gonna give us all the stats, everything, and it's. But there's one thing that ties all these three together, and it's that they all came out of addiction, and it was because of these services that we're going to be talking about, which you could be a part of, and you can support, and you can go buy things, and that money goes to support. And these three have risen through the ranks, and with God's help, and with His
Absolutely.
grace and mercy.
100%.
And that's what's exciting too, is that this is faith-based in the sense that they know where you've really got to go for the big help, and you got the help here, and then you go to God, and He's going to take you through it. But I am so excited for y'all. It's helpful to know that you're here and that you're working to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're that's what we're all about, is trying to help and give back to not only the community, but people that are suffering and struggling with addiction and other life-controlling issues, whether it's gambling or sex addiction, whatever it is that's really got a control of their life that's hindering them from moving forward. As we want to be able to offer them a way out and know that there is a hope in a future that isn't dependent on their circumstances at the moment.
Because I think through television and the narrative that they put on us, that you feel like if someone is on the streets, that's it. That they'll never come off those streets. They don't want to. That they like where they are, and they'll resist you, and they give up before they even start to try and help somebody. And that I feel like goes on and hurts it hurts the program for sure, because you want people to know these are human beings that made a bad choice, and that choice made worse choices.
Yeah, and sometimes they're stuck with those labels that either people have given them, or more than likely they've given themselves. And so we have a place that we're trying to give them a new identity and show them that there is a new way of living, and that they can be more than what society said that they are, or more than what they've claimed for themselves. Like, there's something greater out there if they're willing to step out and do the work. I mean, it's not given to them. You got to do the work, and it's challenging. I mean, it's in the name, Teen Challenge. So
well, and you guys have, you are now like the example, because you came out of that. Does that put a lot of pressure on your shoulders to go like, I have to be good all the time? Or you have to go like, you try every day?
No, I love being that example for people. Like 4.5 years ago is when I went through my program, and to be able, it doesn't feel like a lot of pressure. It feels good to be able to show people like it's possible. Like, if I did this, you can do this.
That's excellent. You've got to keep her.
I know. Yeah.
Good. She is good. That's good. Well, tell me about the women's center that you're working with.
It is Alvin Teen Challenge, and it's a year-long faith-based program. All the teen challenges are a year-long, and it's just amazing what they do. They just offer like, a relationship with God is how we come out of our addictions, and just learning to trust Him, and like trusting in His promises that He has something better for our life than the life we were living.
That's awesome. And it's like, I guess, replacing God with the God of the drug or the addiction, and trying to make God a lot more
Right.
attractive than this.
Yeah.
And that this can help you, because every time you start sobering up or anything, that all the problems are still there, and that wasn't the tool you needed to try and get rid of that problem.
Right.
So that's where Robert comes in, actually,
Yes.
our education, because we try to break away from those old habits, and then he teaches classes on how to deal with different things like temptation or dealing with anger, and some of the other curriculum that he covers with all the students.
Well, are you at a point where they come in, and of course their addiction is fresh, it's still there and all, and to overcome that, do you start giving them some suggestions? Here's your tools, this is what you can do to overcome that. How do you start out with someone like that?
Well, so really, because there's so many approaches and rehabilitations out there. I mean, they're everywhere. And the problem of getting somebody clean from drugs and alcohol is pretty easy to fix. You just take them away from the drugs and alcohol. So really the sobriety starts when they get there, and they're taken away from their environment, right? But they're left with the mess that they are inside. So we found our method is, yes, we use the Bible, we use Christian literature and counseling to help them, but we're a community first and foremost. So we're learning to live the way that the Bible wanted us to live in the first place. We learn to live in a community with others that are going towards the same goal. And so with that, we're all pouring into each other's lives, just like they did in biblical times. They learned from each other. They failed with each other. They succeeded with each other. And I think that most of the people, actually, I know that most of the people that are addicted to something somewhere in their past, they've had a loss for community in their life. They don't have a circle of people around that they can trust, that they can talk to. And when you get the Teen Challenge, that changes, because you see that people are trying to pour into your life and care about you, and there's no ulterior motives here. Like, we're just trying to move forward towards God in a community setting.
That's excellent. I speak to a lot of youth ministers, and what they go up against, because certainly doesn't stop at the church door. There's things that kids bring in there that they're going through, and the addictions and all the same as everybody else. And the schools have just been overwhelmed with the addiction to the THD,
The THC and the CBD.
in the CBD, yeah. And it starts out with all these little gummies that you just take these gummies and they're going to make you feel a little bit better. And then why don't you do this? And here's an oil-based thing that's even stronger. And then take this, and so so the bathrooms have just been, the place where you go and that's what's going to be happening. So the school shuts all the bathrooms down unless it's a break and then you have about 2 minutes to do that. But they try and shut them down and they feel like that's going to help and solve everything. Will that, Robert? Will that solve it?
I mean, no matter what kind of efforts culture and society puts on solving the drug crisis out there, it's always going to be there. People are going to find new ways of doing it too. Like, I mean, just in the 20 years since we were in 25 years since we were in high school. It's completely changed. I mean, people are getting high off of different things, and there will be something different 25 years from now too. The problem doesn't go away. People are just trying to replace God with something else,
right?
And so they'll find new ways of doing it. No matter what we try to do at Teen Challenge is fix the heart problem, because that's really the only way to solve the issue of addiction.
Well, there's a lost feeling when people come, when they're trying to get through addictions, that they feel like they're coming out of it. They can do this by themselves. They don't need anybody and all that. But when they do, and they can't make it, then they feel like there's no help. There's nothing else to help them, and choosing God when it's something that they can't hold on to or sniff or smoke or something, and it's not anything like that they're going to believe that they get so bad and they have to, like in the Bible stories where somebody, when they're like the prodigal son who got so low and was eating the pig's food and stuff like that.
Well, I think you're onto something right there. A bottom is when you stop digging. So I think for every addict that's found themselves at the bottom, or like the prodigal son feeding the pigs and like, man, even my servants have it better back home, right? There has to come a point where you're like, you know what, I'm tired of this life. Like, I don't want to live like this anymore. And there has to come a point where you are tired and you're broken and you just don't have any fight left. And then that's the point when we're there. Like,
right.
If you're willing to help, like if you're really willing to do something about your problems, we're willing to help for sure.
Well, the prodigal son was an amazing story for God to have in the Bible.
Yeah.
And how many times we've read it so many different ways, and how even in my family, my daughter had gone her own way and was not doing well, and she came back and said, just confessed and said, I want to do better. I want to come back home. And we said, of course.
That's
and
amazing.
my son comes to me and goes, that's not fair. That's not fair. She can come back. She can get her car and all that stuff. That's just not fair. And I went, I got a story I want to tell you.
That's amazing.
Sit down.
That's
It was just exactly the same thing. And I said, you should be glad that we took her back. You should be glad. You should be glad. Whew. So if I have done this and they took her back and she did that, that's, wow, okay. So they must love me, love her. And I told him, I said, that's what love is all about, and you understand that. And I think y'all are projecting it, and that's what you're teaching them. And I think that, with your story, when you told me what you had gotten to, that you had a stroke, how many years ago was the stroke?
So I was 37, so 3 years ago. I had a full stroke. Basically died in a hospital. Was in a coma for a while from alcohol and amphetamine abuse. I have a tube coming out of my brain right now that goes into my stomach, so that if I won't have another stroke. I mean, but at 37 years old. But I never saw that coming from high school when we sneak into the bathroom and do things like that. It's so progressive, and it takes you farther than you want to go.
Right.
I never thought I would be at that place, and that still wasn't even my last stop. I still continued to use a little after that, and yeah, it's like Teen Challenge has taught me. It's all about perspective. I had to learn that what I am and what I've been through, I can use for good to help others. Now that I've been through that program, I can see a different perspective of life. Is that I don't struggle to stay sober anymore because it's not a white knuckle thing. I found a way out, and so
That is great.
and so that's I know for everybody at this table and all the staff members at Teen Challenge and Angelic, we just want to share that with other people. We're excited to be able to tell other people that there is a way out. There is a different perspective of you don't have to white knuckle this thing and try to get sober and try to live for Jesus.
And you're not alone.
And you're not alone.
Right.
Yeah,
You
it's
are
a
not
community.
alone.
That's like, I think that's like, I'm sure what you're going through or what you go through with the women that come into that home. Are you getting people that are in a violent situation? Or are you getting people that just, they have nowhere to go?
There's a couple of people who maybe don't have somewhere to go or might have a history of mental illness. We are accepting all different kinds of people that come in.
Oh, you do? So you're seeing the mental challenge, mental challenge, mental challenge, but the mental problems that are coming through. Like they've been talking about, like what happened in California just this morning, is a double amputee had a butcher knife, stabbed someone, and then is trying to get away from the police in his wheelchair, and the police are going, like how. What do we do? And he takes this knife and he acts like he's going to throw it at him, and they have to shoot him. And you feel like, ay. And they said the mental problems are so rampant, and we don't know what they're going to do. We have no idea, like what they're going to do. Now, I'm sure the narrative is this. This just came across the wires. I was coming in here. So, that's going to be blown smithereens as soon as, but imagine the poor policeman that has to shoot someone who's a double amputee in a wheelchair and all that.
Right.
And so, of course, I think he should have just shot the hand that was holding the knife. Maybe it's not for me to say. But I think that if that's the struggle, and you have to be so caring and so loving, and there's a lot of people that just don't have patience for that. They do not have any patience for someone that's just whining all the time, or somebody that can't get a hold of themselves. Yeah. And when you're the ilk that says, "Oh, get over it," you're not the person that should be helping that person.
Right.
So, but Kaitlyn does not seem like that type. Kaitlyn, I feel like you just go to the ends of the earth for a person.
I can be that way.
You can be, because I can be that way.
But
Full disclosure.
I don't mean to. Sometimes it is difficult, Sometimes, like when you're on the other end of it now, and you're looking and you're like, you see the bigger picture where you didn't see it when you were going through it, and it's like, oh, I just want you to get it,
Yes.
So it can be kind of hard to be always just compassionate all the time. Sometimes you do want to shake people.
That is true.
Yeah, being in ministry is extremely difficult, and especially when they're first coming in from addiction, like they need stuff, and you need to pour into them, and they need that attention. A lot of them are dealing with mental issues, and so they're constantly taking pieces of you. And if we don't know how to be filled up, we can get stretched really
Ooh,
thin.
that's true.
Yeah, and so we have to be careful to take care of ourselves and make sure that we're being poured in, that we're pouring into each other, and that we're being the best version that we can be, because it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, 20 different personalities, and they all want something from you.
Welcome to motherhood. So it's interesting because the way that the family's set up, that God lets us understand what love is, when you have your wife, your sweetheart, or whatever, that kind of love. And you go, how much more he loved us and how much more he loves us than we feel like we're loving somebody else. And then, but that we don't have to ever be alone, because he became a father, and he sent his son to become our brother. And so he gives us a family already that's always there spiritually for you, as well as, then sets up the church so that you get yourself involved with people that are trying to do the right thing.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. It's just a big hospital for the sick, and all. But we have hope, and that's the big thing when anyone goes into any kind of medical situation. It's just you're looking for the hope. Somebody tell me it's going to be okay, and I'm going to be okay, and that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
And you're doing that through an interesting and different way. I mean, you're doing it through a commercial setting where people come in and they buy all these different antiques and all these different things that you have there. One of you have got to know, what is it, Angelic Resale? What are some of the items that people can go in there and buy and help all these different things?
They have a lot of furniture. So
they have furniture in there.
They
Okay.
have,
Yeah, nice furniture.
they have great furniture. Like, I'm not even trying to upsell it. Like, they have really good furniture. Roll-away top desks, regular desks, big giant wall entertainment centers for flat screens, desks, bunk beds,
Bed
all different kinds
frames,
of bed frames.
dressers.
And then every holiday they have some display out front. So right now they're setting up for Valentine's Day.
Right.
They're amping that up right now. They have clothes and books and movies, and it's very good for. It's very open and spacious. So there's things.
I mean,
for
you can
kids
spend
and-
hours, right?
Yeah.
Don't even get me started. How long I can spend in that place like that? So you can go in there and have all that time and all those different items that you can get, and find that every time that you go up there and you purchase something, you're purchasing some hope for someone else outside of that you'll never know. They'll never know you or anything like that. But it just feels good. Like, how many times you see the towers to, T to two, the guy who does all the building, taking the mortgages away from the people that have served their country and have been, handicapped by that, and he takes, pays their mortgage and all that. How wonderful that is.
That's
Towers
amazing,
to, there's a two to something. Towers to, hey, Richard, could you find out what it was? The towers to, it's like towers to, and there's another T there, and the T stands for something. He's my fact checker. Fact. V-A-F-A-C-T. Huh? What?
Tunnels?
Tunnel. Towers. Tunnel.
I wouldn't have guessed it.
Yeah.
It is. It's his brother was one of the ones that was a firefighter, and he ran to help
okay.
everyone,
Okay.
and had to go through this tunnel and died in 9/11. And so now this is what his mission in life is, to do something like this. And so it's kind of like that. You feel like you go in and you do something, and it's for good. It's just you're good. You feel good because you can't be there to help somebody physically or be with them, take them to the hospital or anything like that. But there's people that will do that, and they just need your help and support, and that's what y'all can do. But you have furniture, and you have clothes, and you have like jewelry and.
Yeah, and they Fridays and Saturdays people can drop off. It's totally on donation. We don't buy anything. We just kind of resell, obviously, things that people donate, and most of the donors come from the Conroe area.
Yeah.
We're highly involved with the ISD of Davis. I know that we work with a lot of the students in need, because that's our greatest joy and our greatest goal is to outreach towards the community, helping those less fortunate. Not only does it help Teen Challenge, but it helps the community of Conroe, most importantly. So we give back to families in need, and we give to school kids in need, like if they need school clothes or backpacks and stuff, we're there to be able to meet that need.
But you also, if you understand how many parents and grandparents out there are struggling with what can I do for him? I mean, I see him going down the wrong path and all this, and where can I take him? What could I do? What do you say to that person?
Well, I would say that we have centers for everybody. We have centers for adolescent girls. Matter of fact, we're just opening one in Montgomery here pretty soon. The staff is already in position, and we're just kind of waiting for the red tape to clear up. And so we'll have from ages 12 to 17, so we'll be able to help out. And they have a 40-bed dorm opening up for them. So we'll have, then there's a need for that in Montgomery. We have the men's the boys' home, which also houses 50 boys up to 12 to 17. That's up and going. We have the Women's Center in Houston, the Alvin campus, and then from any age, 18 above, and then our men's campus also, which is 18 and above. Then there's other centers. There's 10 other centers throughout Texas. The San Antonio corporate office is obviously in San Antonio. They have a men's and women program, and then they also just opened up a school for women with kids. And so that's our greatest goal, is to like share the gospel with everybody in need and let them know that there's a hope and that there is a place for you, and that it's relatively free. And it's because of places like Angelic that make that possible, that make it possible for people to have a place to go when there's a need, whether it's a family member, a child, or I just had a call today about a family that CPS was involved, and they took their kids, and this pastor is trying to get them relocated and get them into a program because they're in need, and we're there to meet that. And that's what we do.
Wonderful, because parents they feel like I can't deal with this child. I mean, this child's out of control, and they just go, like I feel like helpless. I feel like a failure. I feel all that, but there are programs, and if you can get to a computer or your phone and go to the angelicresale.org or .com,
So.
angelicresale.com, and that so you can start from there, and they give you a lot of different the teen challenge and all that you would want to get involved with. And you have like is it just Friday, Saturday, and
so Friday and Saturdays they're drop off.
That's when you can come and just drop off any
yeah.
donations that you might have. Someone's there between 10 and
6, I believe.
6.
Yeah,
Okay.
10 and 6.
And then but to make to shop, you shop. Is that every day is open, or
every day but Sunday, Monday they're closed. So
okay, Sunday, Monday they're closed.
Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay, Tuesday through Saturday you can go to shop. And those donations of the money that you buy those things with will help. And then if someone is in need, and is there a phone number that's on that Angelic Resale?
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I have the phone number right here.
That they could call, and then that way you can say, I need help with a child, or I need help, and they get that to you. That's what's really important. And I think the Women's Center, are y'all in the Angelic Resale website?
No, it's
That's
just
different.
the Magnolia Center that is over the Angelic Resale.
Oh, okay. So you're in the Teen Challenge. And Robert, Robert, what is that number, please?
So Angelic is 936-441-5433. They can also call us Teen Challenge 281-259-5600. And we kind of, we took ownership of Angelic on July 1st of this last year, and so we're very much intertwined. So sometimes we'll get calls for either or.
Right.
Either way, we'll get you in touch with somebody. And just to touch too on what we sell, and so like we do have drop-offs at the store, Angelic, from Friday and Saturdays for people that want to come back behind the store and drop off clothes. But a lot of people are, like you said, we have a lot of good furniture, big items. When you go in, if you've ever been to a resale shop, it's more like a showroom floor. It's very spacious, and so some of our furniture area is big, and so some people, for whatever reason, estate sales, or they're getting rid of a lot of furniture. So we also work with them if they need us to come pick up the furniture. We have ways to do that, so that not just Friday and Saturday, but we can work with whoever. Come to their house, pick up the furniture. They're giving it to us. It's worth the drive for us,
right?
And we're gonna resell that back to give to our ministries. So,
do you know how many people would rather do that than call 2 men in a truck? But to know that I'm calling these people who love the fact that I'm giving this to them, and they're going to take care of this and all that, because a lot of times you're getting rid of furniture that you had years and years and years, and what's bad is that right now the trend is going towards the retro stuff. And
Yeah,
so in a sense, it's really good for y'all because you probably have a lot of people coming in and giving, things they had in the 90s and all that here. You can have my stuff. But I think that, a lot of times the furniture and clothes and all that, are y'all having to redo the clothes, or you have to take the clothes in, have them cleaned, or
they have a washer and dryer in the facility, so they'll wash. Typically, they'll wash the stuff that comes in, and we have somebody else that cleans up. He has a station back there, and he just cleans everything up, make sure all the electronics work before they put them on the floor. There's quality control that goes behind all that stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, because sometimes you don't feel that's happened.
Yeah, the whole back room is dedicated to, like, before the stuff ever goes onto the showroom floor, if you will. They're going through every article of clothing, every electronic, cleaning up the furniture, making sure that it's definitely resellable, but that it's the quality that we want to resell.
Sure.
And even to the extent of, like, books and records and stuff, we're a Christian company, so we do have standards of what we resell to the community as well.
Yes.
So we will not resell things that are anti-Christian or maybe just like propaganda stuff.
Right.
We want to give back stuff that like kids' toys that we think are appropriate for kids to be playing with.
Yeah,
Right.
good point.
But not definitely on the upper scale, because if you've ever been to a resale shop, some of them can feel a little seedy. And I think we were talking about earlier, you feel like you might get a better deal at the seedy ones, but I mean, this is we're trying to do it for the community, give back good stuff,
Yeah.
and it's definitely at reasonable prices for what we're selling too. So
Well, sure.
Ultimately, it's not for profit, so it's
Right.
a 501c3 also, and so the point of it is to give back to the community and to help support Teen Challenge. On top of that,
That's a very good point, the 501c deal, because then they can also
right? There's
use
a
that, write it
tax-deductible
off.
receipt.
Yeah,
Sure,
write it
yeah,
off.
absolutely.
Yeah, and you can take the receipt and do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, you guys have never stood behind the counters and sold, right? Y'all.
Correct,
Y'all
yeah.
are doing more.
Yeah, I'm more of on the
scenes,
administrative
administrative
part of it,
type stuff, but Kaitlyn's going to get to do that, right?
Yes.
So,
Caitlin's gonna be my eyes and ears over there. Yeah.
and she'll be able to. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because you're in. Now, where's Rodney's? Where are you located with Rodney?
Rodney's in the same office as I am, but he's back and forth. So he'll be at Angelic half the time. He'll be over at the center half the time, and so he's very busy, very very busy guy.
Well, if you understand the history of Angelic hasn't been there that long, right? It's been there how
Like
long?
20 years. I
20
think.
years.
Yeah.
Oh, that long.
Yeah.
I thought you said a while ago because I thought it'd been there a while,
it
but
had
then
we just took ownership of it like 6 months
Oh,
ago.
that's right. That's what I thought. That was just not very long ago, but it's been there 20 years. And I think it's funny because it was so they didn't have big advertisement like they do now. It was just a very word of mouth type of thing and all. And then I remember driving by and seeing that big Angelic resale sign. I went, what happened? Where are they? Who took over? Who took over them? And I think that it's exciting to know that people really do love, as women especially, love to go do antique shopping. But this is more than that. This is more like going into an upscale Walmart, because you've got a lot more things in there, and they have furniture and they have all that kind of stuff, but you've got everything in there that like a one-stop shopping type of thing, and you can get a lot of gifts and things for your home and all that.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool, and I love the way that that you have where people can come in and drop off, or you'll go to them and get whatever they need, to give you, or say, here, I'm getting ready to move. Y'all just take whatever you want.
Yeah, so our Teen Challenge guys will have a box trailer, and they'll come and pick up like stuff. Usually on Mondays, I think is when they're scheduling that.
So the kids that are going through the Teen Challenge thing, are they doing school there? Are they going to their regular school and then coming over?
So if they're in the adolescent Teen Challenge, so they're under 18, then they are required. The program's a little different than the adults, so they are required legally to continue school. So that education in the adolescence program looks a lot different than the adult men's program, where even if they haven't completed school after 18, it's not a requirement. So the adolescents, they're still doing school and the Teen Challenge program at the same time, and they're living there.
And they're living there. As soon as they get home from school, you make them take a shower.
I don't know. I've never worked with the adolescents, but I'm hoping that's one of the rules. Yeah.
Even if the men do come into our adult program and they don't have an education, part of the requirement is that they get a GED before they graduate. So the idea of our program is to not only share their identity of who they are in Christ and change their old living patterns, their old way of living, the way they view themselves, but to build them up. So in theory, they should have a relationship with Christ, know what their identity is, be able to have a driver's license, Social Security card, be employed. So by the time that they leave, they should have a bank account, they should have their GED, they should have their license. So we're preparing them for life, for a successful life, not to just graduate and throw them back. Okay, you're good now. And not only that, we don't just say you're graduating, we're done. Like we have, if you do graduate, there's reentry. We'll help with that, and where you'll go out to work and you'll come back. So there's still some accountability there, and so you also have somewhere to go. Then there's also where me and Kaitlyn went through. We went through TCMI, which is like if you want to continue your education and pursue a career in Teen Challenge or pursue a career in ministry, which is how we met. And they have that opportunity. And so Teen Challenge just doesn't say, hey, you graduated, you're good, bye. Like you're like Robert said, you're part of the community. Like we love you, we support you, we want to see you do well, and we're not going to set you up for failure.
I'm not saying anything bad about the educational system, but everything you just described, every parent would give their eye teeth for that to be the ideal in their schools. This is what you need to be learning. You need that, how to get your first job, how to get your driver's license, how to get there's a lot of things that
investing. Like I wish that somebody would have told me when I was in high school about investing and what that would have been like and what my future would have looked like had I been able to do that. But they don't ever teach you that in school.
Oh no, and I remember if they just teach you how to instead of jiggling the toilet thing, like if you take the top off and find out that the chain has come unhooked, and all you need to do is just take it and put the chain back on, and you're good to go. You don't have to call a plumber. You don't have to call your dad. You can get this all done yourself. It's things like that you go like, somebody teach that, something like that, just so people can have just a little bit of just common knowledge and common sense about things that we should have all known. And instead of all the things that they push on you that the kids don't think are even important or don't, that's why they don't pay attention, is because when am I ever going to use what Germany did?
Right.
And I went, well, it kind of comes back to haunt you if you don't, I think. But you need to know where history is so you don't repeat it, kind of thing. But you need to, but math and all those things, you'll use them. And my grandchildren said, I don't even know if I can tell a quarter from a nickel anymore, because everybody uses a card for everything. So we just think the card takes care of that. And then to make change, they're afraid to get a job because they don't know. I have no idea how you can make change. I don't even see money anymore. I mean, how do I make change with all this money? And so the culture is kind of, you do see a shift in things that kids are learning, and kids aren't learning. They don't write. They don't do cursive anymore, and there's things that they
don't bounce a checkbook anymore.
No,
right?
because you don't want to be the guy in line at Kroger's or HEB who gets out their checkbook and starts to write a check, because everybody behind goes, oh no, they got a check. It's going to take forever to get through this, and so a lot of those things are going away, and what's it being replaced with? And that's what is just incredible to me, is figuring all that stuff out. So the teens that come through your programs, I'm interested. Do you see that happening? Do you see that the things that we all, like all of us knew about, care about?
Yeah, the younger, like we've had some students that age between 18 and 20, and I could definitely see where that millennial generation kind of gap is on that, where we might have went out to play, they might have stayed in and played. Like, you can definitely see that gap in generation, and social media type influence and not having access to a phone is a big challenge for them.
Yeah, because I think the only thing they're worried about is anything happening to their thumbs or getting arthritis in their thumbs
and
that they can't play.
From looking down always. At the
Oh
phone,
my word! That's what I feel like that's something that's going to be a so study to be a chiropractor, or work with the all of the knuckles and things like that. Because I see my kids just constantly popping their knuckles. They said, well, it's easier to play. Like, what? You think that? They said, yeah, you're faster. And I said, so they're concentrating on something so right there in front of them. But I wonder, do you let them play games, or you give them an hour to play games, or no devices at all?
We try to subtract all the things, the distractions of the world. So like, and we try to like dress them the way that they should feel good about themselves. So we're collared shirt, dress clothes. We want to live. You're a new creation, right? And so we want to live that way. We want to be representation of who we want to be seen and known as. And so clean shaven, so no facial hair for students, no cell phone, no tobacco, no relationships with girls, and like we want to subtract all that from the world. Let's get down to the basics and the fundamentals, and find out the reason why we've been living this way and change that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 'cause unfortunately, most, like I said, there's many rehabs out there, and many people approaching the problem of addiction. But unfortunately, we've come to this like tunnel vision in this country where we focus so much on the one issue of getting them clean and sober. And we get them off the drugs, get them off the alcohol, and then we shove them out. And unfortunately, it's parallel to what the American church does with salvation. We focus so much on getting people saved, getting the people into the church, and then we just leave them. Like we don't disciple them, we just let them go. And we wonder why people are falling off the church, because we're not discipling them, we're not teaching them how to be whole people. And so that's our approach is different in that way, because we get them off the drugs and alcohol immediately. We're also unplugging them, like Matt was talking about, from all the noise of the world.
Yes.
And getting them to be able to hear from God and have a relationship, but also find out who they are and find out how to be a whole person. Teach them about, like Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. Teach them how to balance a checkbook, even if they don't have checkbooks anymore. Like, we teach them how to be a person when they go back out in the world. That they're definitely clean and sober from drugs, but they also know how to be responsible and survive in the world.
Good grief, that's awesome.
Because once you know that, then the allure of going back to drugs and alcohol it slips away, because you don't need it.
But the drugs and alcohol and all that are bad, and they certainly help remove you from the reality of what's things that you need to be doing, or accountability and all that. But the kids that are so insecure and so feel lost and feel like their world is all in the games, is all in the addiction to the games and the addiction to, this is my world, this is my reality, is this it's not real, and they need that very same help that you're talking about. All those things can be applied to someone who never took a drug or never did that, but their addiction to just feeling like I've got to isolate myself. And whenever COVID happened, it was horrible. It was I just watched it just shred my grandson and granddaughter just out of total community. They had their friends, they had all this, and then that was gone. And church became, of course, important, and then they shut the churches down. So they used to feel like, where do I don't know where to belong, and they couldn't get how to do homework or anything like that through the computer. And there was a teacher standing there, but she's not seeing me, and so whatever you want to do so while she's looking at you. But it was just such a mind bending thing that happened to them. I feel so sorry for them for those 2 years. They feel like they were just lost and in limbo about things. So something that you're talking about would be amazing if they could integrate that in some way into, like this is what needs to be taught.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
Absolutely.
unfortunately, we've kind of taken community and we've taken the Bible out of schools, and I feel like that we really did a disservice to our nation as far as that.
That one person came and said, "Why are you saying the prayer?" That I was just, it's so sad, and God must have gone like, but that's okay because the good's got to overcome it. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's okay. And but you felt like that was the beginning of of the end for us, but it's not. And people saying that the churches aren't thriving and all that narrative that's come out, it's that a lot of people are watching online and all that. That's true, and that there has been a drop off probably, and the younger people coming up may be doing that. But I just see too many teens, and I've seen too many conventions where it's just full of spirit and full of all that it's not gone. So. If God looks down, okay, if I can find 2 people, I may save y'all all.
Right.
And they're more than that. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Absolutely.
I'm honored to have y'all here, and this program is amazing.
Yeah.
And then too to announce your marriage on the
Yeah,
show. I think
we're
that's
announcing
great.
it here today.
That's great. I just wish
it's
y'all
been
all
fun.
the best.
Yeah.
I know you got it because you got such a great foundation. For goodness sakes.
Amen.
So, what anything's going on, and you guys need some, like people need to know about this in Conroe or something. Let me know, and we'll try and get it
Will
out there
do.
for you.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
your time. This was
No.
great and fun. It was a
Thank you
good
for having
experience.
us.
Oh,
Yeah.
Caitlin and Matthew and Robert. I'm not going to get the last names because I got the first names right.
Yeah, you
And
did.
so
That's awesome.
We thank you. And anybody out there, you want to go see Angelic Resale, you go see it. It's that's just dynamite. And I'm going to sneak in there and see what I can find. Okay? And can't wait. All right. Anyway, I will be back tomorrow. We've got Andrew Yusey. And he's a new guy on our street because he is now taking over the public information and media and all that to communicate with the public and about what we're doing here in Conroe and the city and all. So we're excited. He's got an announcement he's going to make tomorrow that it's going to be exclusive. So you got to be on it. We want to be here for sure because we want to know what he's going to do. But anyway, we'll be there back tomorrow, and then I got an amazing couple coming in for Thursday. I'll tell you about that tomorrow. But listen, first responders, we love you so much. Thank you. Everything that you do, thank you. And we know that we love you, and God loves you even more. So thanks, everybody. We'll be back. Okay, remember, Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Every week, people ask the same 2 questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wooten with Wooten Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these 2 questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, 1-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wooten Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran Show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wooten Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wooten Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.wootenfinancial.com. That's www.wootonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wooten Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wooten Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wooten Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wooten Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wooten Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wooten Financial Group, or any of their representatives.